Hi everybody, this is Oksana, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this swirly ring with a cabochon, and it is an adjustable ring because as you can see there's a little gap here so that it can kind of get bigger or compress to being smaller. And it uses a little stone, little peach moonstone, but you can do it with any stone. You can do other shapes as well. I just happen to have a small little oval. And as always, all the information on the sizes of stone, the wires, the length I used is going to be listed underneath this video. And also the size of my ring. So at about a 7 is where these two loops are just kind of right on top of each other. Once you start to go beyond that, the gap starts growing. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting this base wire for your ring. If you want the sizing of it to be different, you might want to cut it longer, or if you want, it to be a smaller ring. Like, it is adjustable, but what's going to happen is it's either going to, you're going to either get a nice overlap or you're going to get a big gap. So it just depends on whether you want that or not. So if you want, say, like a size 9, but you don't want this big gap, you want to just cut this wire a little longer, make it a little longer. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started making this ring. So you're going to start with a piece of either 18 or 16 gauge wire. This is 18, but I hammered it pretty flat so it looks really thick. Although 18 is a thicker gauge of wire. And this piece was just a little over 3 inches, maybe like 3 1/4 inches. And then, because I curved the ends of it, and I'm sorry that I did this off camera, but I can't really hammer successfully on camera, but I was thinking that this would be explanation enough, hopefully. You just want to use your round nose pliers and just curve the little ends, and then just hammer this nice and flat with your chasing hammer on an iron block. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some pieces of round wire, just 20 gauge. I know you can't really see anything, but it's 20 gauge round wire. And you can do this with square wire. It's a little bit easier, but with the round wire, I like the look of it better. And this is round wire as well, even though, it looks flat because I hammered it. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces. And they are going to be, sorry, I'm just trying to reach my tape here. I'm going to make them 7 inches. No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm going to make them 10 inches. I want to do lots of swirls, and so I want to give myself enough wire to do lots of swirls. So what you want to do now is you want to grab these in the middle, and you want to take this, and also in the middle of it is where you want to attach these. Like this. So what you want to do is take some half round wire now, and you can probably do this with round wire, just I feel like round wire doesn't stay as good as half round, so I like to use half round if you happen to have any on hand. This is 22 gauge, and I'm just doing this to connect. And you want this to be roughly the size of your stone. And then you want to cut it so that the ends are together on one side, and that'll be your inside where the stone goes, so that they're not exposed. The wire ends are not exposed. So just like this. And now let me tell you about my stone. my stone is just a tiny little peach moonstone that is like, what is that, 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters? It's just a tiny little thing. Can't really show you because then I'm going to drop it. But tiny peach moonstone. So this is the hard part, especially with the round wire. Make sure this is still centered. Mine is a little bit off center, so I'm going to just move this a little bit. A little more. Okay, that's probably good, right? So what you are going to do is 2 of these wires, just pick a side, are going to go on one side. 2 of these wires are going to go on the other side. And then you want to take your peach moonstone, hold it. You can either kind of hold it like this or this way, depending on, you know, the look you're going for. And then you're going to take your wires and you're going to trap it in. This part is really tricky. So one set of wires is going to be bent this way to trap this end. And then the other set of wires, oh, it moved, is going to go the other way and trap it this way. So kind of like this, but we got to get it nice and tight. Mine has like a gap going on up here, which I don't want. I'm going to use my pliers. So kind of like this. You definitely want these wires on the stone though, so that it doesn't pop out the front. So you're going to take these wires and wrap them tightly around our base like this. And then just kind of squish them with your pliers. Nice and squished. So same thing here. Now you want to just make sure that your stone is nice and secure in there. This is nice and tight. Might take a few tries. The trapping the stone in is kind of the trickiest part to this. So then what you want to do is you're going to bend your ring. So take your ring mandrel, put it, you know, roughly on the size that you're going for. This ring is adjustable. And just kind of bend these little ends here. One is going to be above the other. And I'm just going to need to do this with my pliers because I just can't press down on the end with my fingers any harder. Okay, so just like that. If you have one of those metal ring mandrels, you can probably even just hammer that a little bit. So now you have your nice ring shape, and it is the size, you know, roughly that you want. Mine kind of got this weird little angle. I'm going to try and fix that a little bit. I think I just, there we go. Okay, so the reason that I like to bend it into the ring shape first is because sometimes when you bend it, it kind of changes the way that the stone is sitting on the band and the way that these wires are. So you can save this for the very end, but then when you do the final bending, things can like get out of place and moved around a little bit. So I like to just do it right away. And now what I'm going to do is with these wires, I'm going to make decorative swirls all the way around the ring band. So I'm just twisting it in a swirl in this one direction. Then I'm taking it, I'm just going to open this up just a little bit so I can get in there. I'm taking this wire and I'm putting it under here and then this way, just basically to connect it to the band so it's not going to stick out. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on this side, and this next portion is just really up to you, what kind of swirls you want to make, how you want to make them. Do you want it to be symmetrical, or do you want it to not be symmetrical? Do you want to add little tiny beads or something? Okay, so now I have the same thing on both sides. There's a little bit of the band left. You don't have to do this like all the way down the whole entire ring band, but it's up to you. You can, if you'd like. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one wire and I'm going to make a little loop and I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to take my brown nose pliers and I'm going to close that loop up and I'm going to press it down with my flat nose pliers. Then I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to have it go alongside the loop like this. Then I'm bringing it inside the ring and up and around. And then I'm going to press that down. And then I'm kind of looping it again. Then I am finishing off this little end here. And if you have a metal ring mandrel, when you put this ring back on, you can kind of hammer all of these. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. I don't have a metal ring mandrel, so I'm just going to put this in the tumbler. Same thing. Making that little loop first. And then I think this loop is bigger. And then taking this wire, kind of going alongside the loop, then going in here and up. And I'm going to press that down. And we are nearly done. So now you can take your ring mandrel and this little gap and everything that we made, you can kind of tighten everything back up, close it up. So even though this ring is adjustable, once you get beyond size 8, it's going to start to open up and you're going to have this gap grow bigger and bigger on the back of your finger. So it's really up to you, you know, how big of a size you want and whether you want that gap or not. Maybe you want these to overlap more. So here is what it looks like. It's got these nice little swirls going all the way across it. It's clearly too big for me. So I can adjust it, right? Because it's adjustable. Tighten that up. And that is what it looks like. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.